microaggressions are experiences where there's an unintentional insult and discrimination against someone.
But microaggressions essentially means it is the types of small slights that accumulate against people of various identities. So for example, if I meet someone Asian and I say, oh, where are you from? And they say, I'm from Florida. No, but where are you really from? The microaggression in that case is the assumption, is kind of, it's assuming a stereotype about someone. And microaggressions are often unconscious and automatic.
I don't believe so. If anything, it sounds kind of familiar, but as of right now, no. My first guess when I heard the phrase aggression was maybe it had to do with anger, but other than that, and then when I think of micro, I think of like small, like macro, micro. Mm-hmm. But other than that, that's what I thought of.
I'm vaguely familiar with them, either verbal or behavioral indiscretions enacted upon someone, either conscious or unconscious.
Yes, I have. At CSUMB, we went into the UC ballroom and we watched a video about microaggressions, basically talking about how someone may view a microaggression as something that isn't aggressive, but to the person that's receiving that, they feel that they've been put in an uncomfortable situation. So I know for some people, someone's like, oh my gosh, I love your hair, but for some reason that bothers them because culturally, there's this whole thing about it. So
not totally, because I think everyone's pretty open and welcoming. No, I wouldn't say that I have. I used to work for the Mexican soda brand Jarritos, and when I would work for them, a lot of the times we would go to primarily Hispanic, populated regions, and a lot of the times I would be interacting with customers or whatnot, and they would come up to me and assume that I would speak Spanish, and when I would tell them that my Spanish isn't that strong or be unable to communicate them, they would often they would just be taken aback and be like, you don't speak Spanish? What's wrong with that? Why are you working for this company if you don't speak Spanish? And I'm just yeah. And I didn't really know how to deal with it at the time, but I just kind of brushed them off and kept on doing what I was doing.
When I was in my late teens, I had some white friends that I had for the first time, and the big thing in the culture back then was Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. And I happened to stay over at my friend's house, and they just got such a kick out of saying, hey, there's an N-word on the couch. Why is there an N-word? So they're all having a grand time about this, and I'm this guy's friend, and it wasn't meant to hurt me. And I've had this also as a gay person with my friends asking me kind of rude questions about my sexuality or what I'm doing, or just not treating me the same way that they would treat a heterosexual relationship.
You feel a little bit alienated, like I don't really belong, and maybe I shouldn't be working for that company.
Microaggressions are decreased when you have greater knowledge of other ethnic, multicultural, LGBTQ groups of people. And so when you have more knowledge of them, you are more likely to understand why something you say might be considered insulting, such as asking somebody where they are from.
Getting rid of racism and sexism and all those isms, because that's really the source of them, all the stereotypes. So one is educating ourselves about the communities, about the marginalized communities that we're not a part of, actually kind of finding out what are the things that they are sensitive about.